Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the morning after show. The morning after the night before. Newcastle United 1, Manchester United 4. Not a great night for the Toon. I've seen online it was our heaviest home defeat for a number of years. I think 4 or 5 years. Where do you start? Right, starting lineups. I looked at the Man U starting lineup and I was quite encouraged. Obviously, Harry Maguire started. He's not been playing well recently, and although you don't want to see somebody go through what he's been going through on the pitch, if it's going to be to our advantage, then sod it, we'll take it. Maguire, Lindelof at the back. Then I think you had Fred, McTominay in sort of a defensive midfield with Bruno Fernandes ahead of them. Obviously, he's a good player. Always got to watch out for him. Juan Mata on the right. Daniel James on the left and Marcus Rashford up front. Rashford's pace worried me a little bit, especially with the centre-back pairing that we went for. But you saw Juan Mata line up against ASM and I thought, ooh, hello. Alan Saint-Maximin, with the form he's in against Burnley, he could quite comfortably deal with Juan Mata. Didn't turn out to be the case. But yeah, so Newcastle, we went for, online it was billed as a 4-4-2. Cardalo in goal. Emil Kraft at right back, which I expected to see Manquillo. But to be fair, Kraft was very, very good against Burnley at right back. Jamal Lascelles straight back into the side, which I thought was odd. I thought he might have been phased back in slowly, maybe get on for the last 20 minutes or whatever. But yeah, he started alongside Federico Fernandez. Jamal Lewis, as expected, at left back. And then it was, like I said, on the Premier League app and on BBC Sport, it was billed as a 4-4-2. Jeff Hendrick on the right, normal midfield of John Shelby, Isaac Hayden, ASM on the left, Joe Linton and Callum Wilson up top. I can remember texting a few people before the game, airing my frustrations at this, which we'll get to in a minute. But as I expected and as I hoped, it soon developed into a 4-3-3 with Jeff Hendrick tucking in inside and Joe Linton going out wide right, which was another oddity. So what went wrong with that selection? Very negative. That selection tells me the 4-3-3 was better than the 4-4-2, but Joe Linton on the right, where he's not really played on the right for us much, and when he hasn't looked very good. He's looked most comfortable this season either behind the striker or wide left. ASM has been very, very good at wide right at times. We look against Burnley with his goal, his assist for Callum Wilson in particular, against Sheffield United last season when we beat them 3-0. So that was the first weird thing, Joe Linton wide right. Then I thought, well, we've got Fraser and Almiron, who both played 90 minutes, I believe. Almiron played 90 minutes for Paraguay during the week. They both started for their countries anyway. So I thought that was weird. I thought this was a perfect time for us to go with our three pacey guys across that three-man attack in terms of having John Joe and Isaac sitting 4-2-3-1. ASM wide left, Fraser wide right, Miggy in number 10, then Wilson topping it off in the number 9 position. But no, Steve Bruce decided to sit a three-man midfield of not defensive players. You could argue, obviously, Isaac Hayden's a defensive midfielder. Jeff Hendrick, I'm not quite sure what he is, bit of a box-to-box player. And John Joe Shelby is very much a ball-playing midfield player. But none of them are going to run beyond Callum Wilson and offer him an option beyond if he wants to hold the ball up. So, yeah, it looked a bit of a 4-1-4-1 at times. Hayden dropped right back in front of the defence with sort of Jeff Hendrick and John Joe Shelby in front of him. But predominantly is a 4-3-3. And we started really well. Caught United cold. ASM fed John Joe out wide to Emil Kraft. Ball in the box. Perfect start. Own goal for Luke Shaw. Unfortunate for him, but it's the way it is. And then Newcastle just decided to let Man U have the ball a bit. Let them ease their way into the game. We had a good sort of 15-20 minutes, I felt. particularly for the first 15 minutes. ASM was very good. At one point, I think he sort of nutmegged Fred in midfield with this weird sort of Cruyff turn, but he was dancing past players. We thought, yes, tonight might be our night, but we just allowed Man United to get into the game, and it was evident from the tactics from the manager that it was just a case of, it was almost as though we expected that Man U were going to play themselves back into form against us. It was like Steve Bruce had almost told the team, right, they're going to come back against us tonight. Yeah, let's just be ready for that, and let's just try and get a draw and take our chances. And when this was an opportunity to really have a go at Man U, really have a go at them, you look at the team they put up. Fred and McTominay, decent players, but nothing to be afraid of in midfield. Absolutely not. Daniel James has been struggling for months for them. Juan Mata up against ASM. But we just let them have the ball. Sloppy corner. Maguire leaves Fernandes for dead. Bang. Another morale boost for Man U. Their under-fire player, their captain, who's been slaughtered recently in the media. Rightly so, because he's been shocking. So he's up for it now, And I think they had another goal disallowed. I think they had a goal disallowed before that, which you thought, oh, okay, this might be our night. Things roll on. Penalty, eventually. Darlow, fantastic save. And I thought Darlow, apart from he spilt a couple of shots, or one, I think it might have been a corner or a cross he came for, and he didn't really punch it as convincing as he could have. But all in all, I thought Carl Darlow was very good. Obviously saved the penalty, saved some, nothing too drastic, but decent shots from Rashford and co. But there's a few things I want to touch on. One thing, a negative, is not our most pressing issue by any means, but Fabian Schär is not a fucking defensive midfielder. Not in the Premier League. He might do a job, like I said before, for Switzerland, against San Marino, against Andorra and fucking the Faroe Islands. But he cannot cut it. Not in this team, in the Premier League. If he was playing for Man City, or a team that dominates the ball, I think Fabian Schär would be a very smart player in midfield, because he does pass the ball well, he does retain the ball well. But in a team full of scrappers who can't keep the ball very well, who surrender the possession and sit back and invite pressure when it's the time to go for it against a team that was down in the dumps like Man U, Fabian Schär is no good. And for Bruno's goal, the goal that went 2-1, he bottles a tackle on Rashford down near the touchline. He bottles a tackle. And to be fair, it's a good goal for Man U. You could say it's sloppy from us because it's our free kick 1 minute. Under a minute later, the ball's in our net. But it was a great sweeping move from Man U. Donny van der Beek, I think, got involved. Obviously, Rashford, Bruno, finishing it off. But sloppy from us. Jamal just backed off. And great finish from Bruno, from that angle, bang, top corner. Brilliant. Another thing to say, Isaac Hayden went down injured, and he seemed to come off the pitch very quickly, so I'm assuming it's nothing too bad. It was just a case of, right, you can't continue, let's not make it worse. But again, that just shows that this was in the 48th minute. It was right at the start of the second half. Steve Bruce has got no intention of chasing the game, no intention of trying to push ahead, because he puts on a centre-back to play in midfield. So now you've got Jonjo Shelvey, who's a ball-playing midfielder, but, he's not going to run beyond. He's not going to attack as such. You have the odd pot shot from range and ping a ball, but that's it. Jeff Hendrick, who runs around and puts effort in, but it's not doing an awful lot. And Fabian Schär, who's you can pass the ball well, but he's a centre-back. He scored an absolute banger a couple of seasons ago against Burnley, but he's not going to force the issue. He's not going to grab the game by the scruff of its neck and, drag us to victory. So Isaac Hayden comes off, Fabian Schär comes on. I would have liked to have seen Miggy or Ryan Fraser come on. That was more than doable. Go from the 4-3-3 to a 4-2-3-1, like we have done at times this season, and looked okay. Rarely, because we've been playing 4-4-2 a lot. Shelvey and Hendrick in sitting in the midfield, fine. And then if you brought Fraser on, you could have put Joelinton either in the 10 or left, and then put ASM in the other position, either 10 or left, and then put Fraser on the right. I would probably prefer that game. I would prefer to put Joelinton left, ASM in the 10, because I think him driving at the defence will just scare the shit out of them. But no, we decided to go defensive and try and cling on to a draw against, form-wise, one of the worst teams in the league. You know, you look at Man United, everything that's going on, they've just been beat 6-1 by Spurs. The failure and joke of a transfer window that they had. Get down, bro. And, you know, they got beat by Palace. They scraped through against Brighton. And we just did the classic Newcastle thing of, when we face a team that's really down and backs against the wall, we just give them an out. We gave them an out. We gave them every opportunity to play themselves back into form, into confidence, and win that game. And it just, it's so frustrating. In the end, they catch us out 2 counter-attack goals. Jamal Lewis doesn't track Wan-Bissaka. Bang, smash, and then long ball over the top from Fernandes, and Rashford's got too much pace. Dreadful. But yeah, Steve Bruce, you got to point fingers at the guy. He set a team up not to fail, but no ambition. That performance sums up everything that's wrong with Newcastle United. No ambition, no fight, no ruthlessness, no ambition, and it's just frustrating. But get behind the team again against Wolves. Hopefully things will be different. We seem to be winning the games that you don't expect us to win, or get a result from, and then losing the games we should. So yeah, hopefully we can do something against Wolves. I'm hoping Ryan Fraser will start, because Joelinton can't start next week, because I've been a bit of a Joelinton sympathiser. I think he doesn't deserve some of the stick he gets. I think Steve Bruce played him. You go on about Maguire being played through bad form. Joelinton last year played every single Premier League game. He didn't set the transfer fee. He's not a striker. Bruce put the number 9 shirt on his back and expected him to come up trumps, and played him. However, tonight, you didn't notice him on the pitch. Where was he? So I'm hoping Ryan Fraser starts next week with Miggy Almiron. I think it's the game for Almiron. Wolves aren't the most physical team. So hopefully he'll start against Team Portugal, and we shall see. But last night, it worries you. It really does. Anyway, quick shout out to Callum, who I saw yesterday afternoon, Man United fan, who predicted a 2-1 win. I wish that was the case. But yeah, he was texting me throughout, and I seem to have a lot of Man United fans texting me yesterday, and yeah, you guys were better tonight. Deserved the win. You're not as good a team as the scoreline suggests, but you deserve to win. So we go on to next week. Please like and subscribe to the channel, and see you Friday. Friday reflections is going to become a thing. So I will see you on Friday, and we look forward to yours.